Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I just get excited that people are going to watch my videos, just don't know when you're going to get a chance to. So I just wanted to come to you this morning with my quote, and then I'm going to dive straight into what has been kind of weighing in my mind and how we're going to address that, which is this morning is going to be 5 steps. Actually, I think I've got 6 now. 6 steps to staying productive at work. Okay, so this morning's quote is by Abraham Lincoln. The worst thing you can do for those you love is the things they could and should do themselves. I'm going to say that one more time. The worst thing you can do for those you love is the things they could and should do themselves. That was by Abraham Lincoln. It getting the blood flowing, getting you thinking, right? So I know it's crazy. I have all this energy. I promise you, I don't drink coffee. It's probably a good thing. No energy drinks. I just get up with that renewed vibrance in the mornings, regardless of how my day was yesterday. Yesterday ended at midnight, and so today is another day. Okay, so I'm coming to you with 6 steps to staying productive at work. All right. Step number 1, identify what you want. So the first step is to specify or be specific at what it is that you exactly want. So there's goals that you would like to achieve in a long term, followed by medium and short-term goals that will help you get there, right? So your goals must, of course, be measurable and meaningful. Okay, again, your goals must be measurable and meaningful. Measurable means that you clearly understand what it will take for you to achieve your goals, and meaningful means that these goals matter. The more reason you can find to achieve these goals, the higher level of motivation you will have moving forward. All right? So to gain clarity about your goals you would like to achieve, here's some things you can ask yourself. What would I like to accomplish? What are my long-term goals and objectives? What are my medium and short-term goals that will help me get to where my long-term is aimed? How will I know these goals have been achieved? How will these goals be measured? Why is it important for me to accomplish these goals? Why now? One last thought. It's important for you to assign a monetary value to your time. So you want to do this because often we simply don't respect the hours we have throughout the day. Your goals obviously have value, and therefore you want to spend time on them, and that adds value or takes value. As such, so take time to identify a dollar amount for the time you're going to be spending working on your goal. A question you might want to ask: what are my goals worth from a monetary perspective? If someone was to pay me for that goal, how much would I charge? How much per hour? How much per day? All right. Adding a value will make you work with a sense of urgency. All right. So you wouldn't waste time on unnecessary, expenditures or on free. That's the reason why they say people who pay attention. All right. So it's all about working on the most important things that will get you to your goal as quickly as possible. All right. And if all of a sudden someone tries to distract you from your focus and your goal on something else, then all you need to do is remind yourself of the value per hour and then figure out where your time is worth spending. Again, identify what you want. Number 2, conduct a time audit. It's now more important to figure out how you're going to make use of your time. The process is known as a time audit, and it will help you get a better idea of where your time is going and where you could make adjustments moving forward. A typical time audit will often last for a week, although 3 to 4 days can often be enough to provide you with clarity on what you need. And all that's required from your end is to simply jot down, okay, what exactly you're doing in 15-minute intervals throughout the day. All right. Once you've completed the process, you want to take the time to overview it, how you utilize your time. And you want to ask yourself some questions. All right. So first one would be, how am I currently using my time? Is how I'm using my time moving me closer or further away from my goals? Where am I specifically wasting or losing the most amount of time? How much time is being wasted in a week or a day? What activities could I potentially eliminate? Where are the biggest opportunities to gain time? How can I work smarter rather than harder? What specifically must I do? How can I potentially get more done throughout the day by working in this manner? All right. So answering these questions will help you gain a deeper understanding of where you could improve your time under time management. And you all know how important time management is. I stress that through my organizational skills, through my training and some of the teaching that I give. But however, simply answering these questions is not solely going to boost your levels of productivity. You need to gain some more clarity in the other areas as well. So number 3, and number 2 again was conduct a time audit. Number 3, gain clarity about how to best utilize your time. There's one thing you must always keep in mind when it comes to utilizing your time most effectively. The one thing is to focus on your highest priority activity at all times. But what is actually considered a high priority activity? There's no doubt many explanations that could be given here, right? However, there's just one explanation that sums it up perfectly. This explanation comes in form of the Pareto principle. This is something that I hear often used by John Maxwell. The Pareto principle states that many events, roughly 80% of the effects, come from 20% of the causes. In other words, 20% of the activities you focus on will get you 80% of the desired outcome. Well, 80% of your activities will only get 20% of the desired outcome. So given all that information, you want to focus on the 20% of tasks and activities, your highest priorities, first and foremost, before focusing on anything else. However, you do want to identify what tasks and activities fall into this 20%. You must take some time to gain more clarity about what it is you will need to focus on. So I'm going to give you some questions. What are my desired outcomes that I would like to achieve? What needs to happen for me to achieve these desired outcomes? What specific actions will I need to take? How much time will each of these actions take? What's my short and long-term impact of each one of these tasks or activities? Is the investment of time into each activity worth the resulting outcome I will derive from each activity? Which of these tasks or activities fall into the 20% range of highest priority activities? Do these activities match the dollar value I placed on my time when I laid out my goals? Am I the right person to get all of these things done? Or would I be better off delegating or leveraging my time? What low-value activities that fall in the 80% range could I outsource, delegate, or delete? That's that do, delegate, or delete. Who could support me to get all these things done efficiently and effectively? And the most important, when will I start these actions, or when will I start taking action? All right. Now that I've gained clarity and highest values, you're now ready to lay down a daily and weekly plan of action. So step 4 is draw up a plan of action. So on your plan of action, you want your highest value activities, all right? Remember, we talked about the Pareto principle. So your highest are the 20%, they're at the top of your list, all right? So planning is best done usually the night before, all right? Therefore, you can get a day started in the morning when you already know exactly what you must focus on. To help you gain further clarity in this area, let me ask you some of these simple questions, all right? So, what must I absolutely get done tomorrow? What should I ideally get done tomorrow? What could I potentially get done tomorrow? So those categorized are important. Am I sure this is important or unimportant? All right. What task and activities will I not distract myself with tomorrow? These are your irrelevance. So it's important to identify the irrelevant tasks and activities that will only waste your time. So list them down, commit yourself to avoiding them at all costs. You might, however, decide instead of outsourcing or delegating these tasks, you may want to delete them. If that's the case, then make sure you plan this ahead of time and just notify whoever you work with, all right, what's going on, all right? So now, definitively answering these questions, all right? You've thought of these, you got your answers. It's also important to take the following 2 points into consideration. You want to think about these. Overestimate your time required to accomplish a task. Things will often, or almost always, take longer than expected. So plan for it in advance. For big tasks, create mini milestones to avoid overwhelming yourself, all right? For me, this is huge. You know, where I'm at, you know, it could be 15 minutes into it, it could be an hour into it, but I give myself mini milestones to achieve when I need to, all right? Mini milestones keep your motivation levels high. It keeps you going. You want to hit that next level. It's also important to account for potential interruptions you may face throughout the day. I don't ever get interrupted. What are you talking about, right? So account for those potential obstacles that may put a damper or just kind of take away from your level of productivity. So here's some things you can think of or ask yourself. What potential productivity obstacle might I face? What may I encounter, all right? Where and when am I most likely going to get interrupted? How will I deal with these obstacles and interruptions? Planning in advance in this way will streamline your decision process throughout the day. All right? So take time to challenge yourself. Create challenging deadlines and expect the very best from yourself each and every day. This will allow you to grow. All right? When you challenge yourself, you raise your standards and expectations. And as a result, you're more likely to attain higher levels of productivity. However, be careful not to overwhelm and burn yourself out too quickly. So number 5, start small, then build momentum. Having too much or too little time to do, you know, it can leave you feeling overwhelmed and burnt out. So starting a productivity regime is a process that you must work on over time. This doesn't happen overnight. We know this, all right? So understand this. It's not going to happen just overnight. It's about developing good, productive habits that will help you work smarter rather than harder. So taking on too much early will only hurt your productivity. So instead, start small and build the momentum. Install a new productive habit each week. You can do one habit a week, just trying something new, all right? And focus on developing that habit. It takes 21 days at minimum, consistently, to build the habit. Then when you're happy with your progress, install another habit and build momentum from there. Number 6, conduct weekly reviews. The final step of productivity process is going to conduct regular weekly reviews. What have you done? This is critical because when you review, you learn about yourself and about your weekly routine. So regular reviews help you identify where you've made the most progress, where you've struggled. They also help you learn from your mistakes. So encouraging yourself to make adjustments and improvements to the way you work moving forward will help you achieve your goal faster. Here's some questions at the end of the week as you're reviewing what your previous week was. What has my productivity been like over the course of this week? Where have I accomplished the most? Where have I struggled the most? What productive habits have worked for me? Which ones haven't worked so well? What lessons have I learned from all this? How can I use this feedback to help me improve my productivity moving forward? With this process in hand, there are now no good excuses for spending your time on the wrong things. However, the choices you make moving forward are completely up to you. You can either choose to continue doing what you've always done, but if you do, don't expect different results. That's that definition of insanity. You're doing the same thing over and over again, expecting something different to happen. So you can try and do something new that will help you work far more efficiently and effectively through your day. This choice is yours to make. What will you choose to do? Okay, so keep the productivity plan in mind. Number one, identify what you want. Number two, conduct a time audit. Number three, gain clarity about how to best utilize your time. Number four, drop a plan of action. Number five, start small and build momentum. And number six, conduct weekly reviews. All right, so that is my lesson teaching for today. Thank you so much for taking time to listen. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Thank you for staying and watching. I hope that this has made an impact for you. And I just ask that if it has, if you found value in this, if you do find value in this, like, share, and comment. I love reading the comments and I like hearing the feedback. It's a wonderful part about my growth opportunity. Y'all have a wonderful day, and I look forward to the next time we talk.